this heaven?
No. It's Iowa.
Eric, man, check this out. I have the absolute best podcast guest. You're going to love this guy. He's from Spain. He has got the best movie reviews. He's the hottest thing. He knows so much about movies. He's super passionate. We got to get him on this podcast.
Where'd you find this guy? I've never even heard of him.
He was out review. I just saw him. He was doing pickup reviews on the street. He was just having one-on-one reviews with random people on the street. He was just blowing everybody away. It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Well, what's his deal? What's so special about this guy?
He just knows so much about movies, and he's just so smart and so funny and so likable. I mean, he's just great. He's the perfect podcast guest. Nobody even knows about this guy. He's a fucking unicorn.
Give me an example. What's he reviewed?
Oh, he loves THX 1138. I mean, it's great. He's had the most compelling arguments about why THX 1138 is the best George Lucas movie, the best science fiction movie, better than 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's just the most amazing thing you've ever seen, man. You definitely have to check this guy out. We got to get him on this pod.
Ben, you know you're good at a lot of things, but we need you out there scouting podcast guests. So go back out there. Go find me somebody that isn't a fan.
That guy.
I don't need a fan of THX 1138. I'm out. Okay, I'm out. We're not doing it.
No other podcast knows about this guy. You're missing out. Screw you, you born on third base motherfucker. I quit.
Ole, bitch, we're talking hustle on the Pot of Dreams.
Taking me to see basketball or bare knuckle boxing? We do everything. I'm Stanley Sugarman. I'm a scout for the 76ers. So you're 22 years old because you can't be in the draft if you're over 22.
Yes, I'm 22 years old.
Who's this?
It's my son.
How old is he?
He's 10 years old.
Okay.
This Philly thing. There's room to grow there. I want to coach someday.
Do you love being away from home all the time?
Best chance to win in here is with you out there.
What the hell am I still chasing this for?
So you're just gonna give up on your dream?
Been in this league for 30 years and it's like I'm nothing. Look at this guy. You come to Philly, your whole world's gonna change overnight.
I gotta work. My mom and my daughter, they mean everything to me.
Salary's $900,000.
He will call in sick.
In all the years I've been doing this,
Have I ever reacted this way? He's raw. We train him, get him in NBA shape. What do you say?
Not gonna happen, Stan. You just gotta get back out there.
You know, I haven't been home on my daughter's birthday for 9 years running.
I'm not asking.
The Sixers don't know you stashed him.
Being the guy who finds the guy matters in this business.
Mountains fire you for this.
I just want to make sure I do what's right for the kid. He's got a daughter to support.
You got a daughter to support.
Where are you from?
Spain. Sounds weird.
You think you can stop me? Welcome to America.
That wasn't him. That wasn't even close to him.
I fly home tomorrow.
Is that what you want to do? Hey, you love this game? I love this game. I live this game.
Let's get to work.
The draft happens in 6 weeks. If we're going to do this, we got to do it ourselves.
No doubt about it. That kid's got it.
Do you need a hand up? You don't need nobody's help.
We need a spark.
This is all for you, pal.
It's for us.
Okay, it's for us.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining the Pot of Dreams this week. We're doing Hustle, Netflix movie. Again, thanks for listening. I picked this movie for one particular reason, and if you know me, you know right away why it is. And it's Anthony Edwards. And I just have a question, Ben. Should we give him the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor now? I mean, he's got to be on the short list, right? For best, he's incredible in this movie. He plays Kermit Wiltz. He's great. He's amazing. Should we give him the Oscar now?
He's good. Can I give you a confession, Eric? I didn't know it was Anthony Edwards until afterwards. I didn't know at the time who it was. Like, this guy's pretty good. He's doing some good trash talk. He's doing fine. And I was like, oh, it's Anthony Edwards. That's why Eric wanted to watch this movie.
Did you know he was a professional basketball player? Or did you think he was
so.
an actor?
Well, I assumed he was a professional basketball player. I just like probably somebody I don't know. I'm not that into the NBA, so I was like, there's most of the guys on there. That there was a lot of professional NBA players in this movie, and I didn't know most of them. So it was just assumed anybody that's playing basketball was an actual professional or an actual coach, other than the few people that I knew were actors.
Yeah, I mean, I just got to so clear out on this whole deal, because there's a scene in the movie. So Anthony Edwards he's kind of the villain of the movie. He's basically the villain. He's the sports movie villain.
Sort of,
and
yeah, sure.
There's a scene in the movie where the main character, who's also a former Timberwolf, by the way, Juancho Hernan Gomez, plays Bo Cruz, the lead of the movie. He was on the Timberwolves.
Okay.
Did
they correctly get rid of him? Was he not good enough to be on your beloved Timberwolves, Eric?
They did trade him in 2020. I'll go through his. He had 2 years. He actually had his best season as a Timberwolf.
But were you happy that he was traded, or were you sad about it?
Yeah, he was like a guy that had some promise, but was never going to be a star.
Oh wow, okay.
But so there's a scene in this movie where the main character, he's trying to become an NBA player. Adam Sandler's a scout, international scout. He sort of brings him in, wants the 76ers to take a look at him, draft him, and they refuse. Anyways, so he gets him in the combine towards the end of the movie, the NBA combine leading up to the draft, and they go head to head. Edwards and Hernan Gomez go head to head. And there's a sequence. So Edwards is just like a complete trash talking asshole. He's just like, he's in his grill. He's driving him crazy. And there's a sequence in the movie where Edwards gets the ball, he fakes him out, scores, and then he insinuates that Hernan Gomez had a kid with his own mother, that he fucked his mom and had a baby. And then he called his daughter's mom a whore, basically. And then he suggests that his daughter's mom should shack up with him because then he could give his daughter. And I think the quote was, I would be a great stepdaddy and give her a real man to look up to. And then he blocks the shot and then does a windmill dunk on him. That's the whole sequence of the movie. It's incredible. I know I'm making him sound like a complete maniac, and he kind of is in this movie, but he's supposed to, be this shit-talking, cocky basketball player, and he's incredible, and I love it, and it's a reason enough to watch this movie. Future Hall of Fame Timberwolf Anthony Edwards.
Not only the best plot. So in this movie, we have Adam Sandler playing an NBA scout for the 76ers who aspires to be a coach, and for reasons, bad luck, I guess, he's about to become a coach, and then has to end up, he is for a little while, but then gets relegated back to being a scout. The best part was that the main character's arc is that he had to learn how to just deal with trash talk. That was it. That was his growth as a character. I have to be able to not lose my shit when people talk shit to me, which is a plot line I've never seen before in a movie, and I liked that. That was my absolute favorite part. And it was some really good trash talk. I mean, it was pretty aggravating.
So there was I listened to a different podcast, and this other, I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head, but he had a theory which blew my mind when I heard this theory, that this movie is basically like a remake of Happy Gilmore. And I was like, whoa, hold on a second. And there's so many comparisons that, like, Adam Sandler's Chubbs had his shot, broke his hand, because in the movie Adam Sandler has like a busted up hand, and Chubbs, the damn alligator, bit his hand off. And then Hernan Gomez, who's basically Happy, is this like phenom, sort of like he was at golf, but he has like anger issues. He had an assault charge, and like Anthony Edwards pushes him just like Shooter McGavin. Anthony Edwards is basically Shooter McGavin, and that's the plot of the movie. It's like a remake of Happy Gilmore.
So imagine if you saw Happy Gilmore and you're like, hey, I want to do this, but I want it to be about basketball and be not funny.
And be not funny. That's this movie. Yeah.
Yeah. If you think that sounds appealing to you, that's fine. I mean,
but it's a traditional sports movie though. There's a lot of sports movies like this. So I think it's a really good like basketball sports movie. There's problems. It's not a perfect movie. I think Adam Sandler's actually like the worst part of it.
Yeah, but, I mean, we did Uncut Gems quite a while ago, and it's like that's Exhibit 1A, and Adam Sandler can act. 1B is Punch Drunk Love, and this is like I never thought I was looking at. I knew I was looking at Adam Sandler the whole time. I didn't get lost in this character or anything. It's like, oh, this is Adam Sandler pretending to be an NBA scout coach, which is fine. It's not bad, but it wasn't.
But it's funny, when the movie starts, you see the Happy Madison logo, and I realized like he's had this deal with Netflix for like, I don't know, 10 years or whatever. I don't think I've seen a single one of those Netflix Happy Madison Adam Sandler movies. This is probably the first one I've watched.
My wife started one once, and it was I couldn't watch. I was like, I gotta get out of here. This is miserable. The one where he's like a detective on a boat. It's a murder mystery. But
there was like a Halloween one he did.
Yes.
There's like a Western. He's done like all sorts of crazy movies, but this is the first one I watched.
Yeah, it's not a comedy. So
there's some funny bits in it. The Boban where he says he's 22 and then the kid walks in. How old is he? He's my son. He's just 10 years old. I was like, yeah, no, that's.
I didn't laugh, but it was like, okay, that's mildly amusing. I didn't like burst out laughing, but.
No, it's definitely a drama. It's a sports drama for sure. It's not a comedy, which is weird that Adam Sandler is like trying to do a serious performance. But I liked the, I'm a big basketball fan. I like the NBA a lot. I like that they had NBA players. Like in a lot of these sports movies, the basketball is like not good. I thought all the basketball was good. Basketball scenes. I
don't know how those scouting games work because our main lead, he just shoots the ball a ton. I'm like, aren't the other players trying to impress people too? Is it everybody just chucking up a bunch of shots and trying to drive?
They show him play defense and pass a bit too, but yeah, I mean he's a
little bit. Mostly it's him. If he makes a three, he's doing well, and if he misses a three, he's doing bad. It's mostly just him putting up shots, and yeah, that's fine. And some of it is you just have to take narrative shortcuts. I don't know. Maybe if somebody's a basketball fan, Eric. So the very first time our protagonist, he gets to play in a scout, like a sort of scrimmage, right? A bunch of potential NBA prospects play in a scrimmage, and he's playing Kermit, who's the number 2 prospect in the NBA, which suggests he's probably really good at basketball. And that guy works him over a little bit in their first encounter. And then the guy gets dismissed. Is that typical? Like, if you get worked over by the number 2 guy in the NBA draft, is the assumption that you suck?
No, I think it was because he lost his cool.
But would that be enough if, like, you're an NBA team and you're like, this guy is super talented, he just has anger issues, you'd be like, I'm out?
Well, and then he fell apart. Like, his game fell apart. He stopped playing well, so he looked bad.
Sure, but it also happened with, like, a great trash talker who's really, really good. I don't know.
I didn't understand why make him the number 2 prospect. They're like, what the hell was that? I suppose because then he wouldn't be in the combine. That makes sense. There was a little line in there. Is like, you've got your spot locked in. Why are you even here? And he's like, because I want to play. I want to show everybody that I'm best. Like the number 1 prospect. Like he didn't. Anthony Edwards, who was the number 1 prospect, number 1 draft, he didn't play or participate in the combine. Like he didn't have to. So
yeah, this guy wanted to be number 1, right? So he was number 2, and that's why he was there. He's like, I should be the number 1, so I'm going to show everybody that I should be the first pick. Sure, that's fine.
It's just weird because he was the first. In real life, he was the first pick, and it's also weird that like Gomez.
Why not make him Anthony Edwards?
Right, anyway. Hernan Gomez was playing a different guy, Bo Cruz, it wasn't a real person, and Anthony Edwards was playing Kermit Wilkes, who's not a real person. And then there was another guy, I think, Hans Wagner or something like that. He was playing a different guy, too, that wasn't him. But all the other people in the movie were playing themselves. Like, all the 76ers players, they were all just playing themselves.
And is Doc Rivers the current coach of the 76ers?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know if he quit or if he's been fired since the last season. But, yeah, he was last season.
Sure.
Matisse
Stevens is still the coach of the Celtics?
No, he's the GM of the Celtics.
Oh, got
it. And I think what happened there is Hernan Gomez was actually traded to the Celtics this last season, so they had to film because they must have filmed the end. So the movie ends where Bo Cruz becomes an NBA player and Adam Sandler, spoiler, becomes
It's not a spoiler. You know that's going to
becomes a coach.
In the first act, you know that Bo Cruz is going to make the NBA. There's no tension or mystery involved.
The game ends in like a real game between the Sixers and the Celtics, and he's playing, and I think that's what it was. Is like Hernan Gomez was traded to the Celtics, so they had to like adjust it. So there was a real they filmed it before the game started or something like that. So I don't know. I loved it because Anthony Edwards talking shit and busting.
It was the best part. It was an interesting storyline. I I mean, there wasn't a lot else for me to chew on, frankly. I mean, you get a lot of Adam Sandler in this movie, and it's pretty nebulous. I mean, I don't know if anybody's seen Spanglish, but I felt like this was kind of comparable to Spanglish. It's sort of a serious drama, but with a little bit of a light drama, if that's a real term. It's not heavy, not melodramatic. And he's fine. And in Spanglish, he's playing a chef, but he's basically playing himself. And here he's playing a scout. He's basically playing himself. And you know where it's headed. I thought for a brief second towards the end, Eric, that we were going to get like a more nuanced ending, and I was about to be really excited. Like if he gets too angry. And then I thought, like, oh, maybe he'll just go play in the European leagues. He'll still make some decent money in the European leagues. And maybe then he can come back and get drafted to play in the NBA. I thought that was where I was going to go. And I was like, oh, that's a little more interesting.
Yeah, it's actually my major complaint of the movie is, like, I'm sure there are scouts, right? Every NBA team has an international scout, I'm sure. I hope.
Sure.
But, like, most of these guys, like Luka Doncic and Giannis, like, they were playing in European leagues, like professional sports, and that's how they were discovered. You know, it's not like they found some guy on the street with like cargo pants and boots on and like, oh, that guy looks like, you know, he's 6'8", he could play. Like that just never happens. You know, most of it is like they go see international games that are like televised or
that's
streamed.
what Adam Sandler was doing, right?
Yeah.
He was going to these international games and seeing actual players, and then this guy on the street. I don't know how he knew he was so good. I mean, like, if you see somebody owning somebody else on the street, aren't you just like the guys playing on the street might just be really shitty?
Well,
you know what I mean? Like,
I think his size, you see a 6'8" dude that can move like that, you'd be like, holy shit, that dude could be like a really good basketball player. That would jump out at you right away.
Okay.
I mean, he's like 4 inches taller than me, and I'm like a tall person, and I can't run and jump like that. Like that to see someone like that live in real person, like at a park gym, would be pretty mind blowing.
Sure. He's pretty dominant. Fair enough. That's the whole crux of the movie. But there wasn't enough of the actual stuff outside of the main, like, he's training, he's getting coached up. We get a lot of getting coached by Adam Sandler, more than I needed or wanted. I didn't need to see a bunch of. I didn't need 10
You got to have a montage
training.
in the sports movie.
You could have been a lot shorter. It didn't need to be 10 to 15 minutes of him doing training. Personally, I would have liked to know more about him as a person. What happened with the aggravated assault? Like, what was going on in his life? Why did that happen?
He talks about it. He went with his girlfriend.
It's like one scene.
He went to see her, and the dude was there, and he didn't. You know, he was a little hard to understand. I thought a little bit, which is. But again, he's not an actor either. Like, he's a professional basketball player, which I think for that, like, you know, to get a guy who's not an actor to play a basketball player, he was pretty good.
But then it's just what's Ben Foster's deal? And by the way, I feel like Ben Foster just gets the short shrift in Hollywood. Why doesn't that guy get better parts? The movie gives him very little to work with, and he makes the most of it.
They just make him bald. That's like his only character trait, is like he's a bald guy.
He's bald, and he makes bad basketball decisions. We don't know anything about his philosophy or anything. We just know that he was wrong the 2 times he went head-to-head with Adam Sandler. He's just, I guess, doesn't have good instincts.
Well, we don't even know, like, because the other part that bothered me about the movie is, like, they talk about how they had the pick from the Hawks or something like that. That's why he was scouting this international players, because, like, they had a high draft pick coming up in the draft.
Sure.
And they needed to get it right.
And as Timberwolves fan, you know what it's like to have a high draft pick. It happens a lot for Timberwolves.
Thank you, Anthony Edwards.
Yes.
But then, like, when we get to the scene where he's a coach now, there's no reference to, like, did they pick? Obviously, they didn't pick Bo Cruz. They picked somebody else. But, like, what happened with that? Like, that was the whole conflict, is, like, they had this high pick and they needed to get it right, and that's why he fired Sandler. And then it's like that we don't ever go back to that.
No, they don't care about the 76. It's all Adam Sandler's movie. It's all about him getting vindication by finding the guy and proving he can coach him up and getting him ready.
And, like, did he get a cut of his first salary, or like
yeah, I don't know. That's the question.
There was a bit
agent
where Kenny Anderson, who's also, I think, very good, very good in this movie. He plays like an agent. He doesn't play Kenny Anderson. And he, like, tries to pitch him a job to be an agent with him, and then they never go back to that. But that's essentially what he was to Bo Cruz, was his agent. getting him prepped for the draft, and then I assume you get a cut of his salary or whatever.
Yeah.
At his first contract.
What do you think an international scout for an NBA team makes? Like, what do you think Adam Sandler's character salary was at the beginning of the movie? Is it 6 figures?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the 76ers are like a, billion-dollar franchise. Like,
right. Sure, yeah.
With probably, 100 employees, how many people actually work for a basketball team? You got, like, some marketing, you got legal, you got, like,
sure,
the coaching staff, but then you got scouts, I don't like money. Have you seen Moneyball? Moneyball's a good movie about scouts and scouting. And this movie, I think, it is also a pretty good movie about.
No, it is. Yeah,
they're
putting him in 5-star hotels, and he's getting, I'm sure, big. He can put in a lot of expenses daily for food and shit. I'm sure he's made. I'm just
buying a lot of that product placement, a lot of that fast
tons.
food. Netflix is kicking out that product placement.
Adam Sandler's been good at that since day one. Happy Gilmore, a big Subway, big Subway chunk, and there's probably way more, but the Subway most of all. So he's figured out how to do this. Like, I can make a movie, have this budget, I can get companies to pay me to put their products in the movie, to trim the budget, and I can be like guaranteed to make money. He knows the business of making movies. But I was just like, it's one of those things. I never really identified with Adam Sandler's plight. Like, okay, he wants to be a coach, and Robert Duvall dies, so then he gets demoted. Why does Ben Foster demote him? Don't really know. He says he's invaluable as a scout. Maybe it's petty. We don't really know. Don't flush it out. But I'm like, I get that you're sick of 5-star hotels, but you're making a shitload of money, and you're still at least tied to the game of basketball.
Yeah.
So I don't feel that sad for you that you're not a coach.
More like boardroom, sort of like politics would have been a better I think that's what Moneyball does so well, is the like politics of the coach and the manager and the GM and the sort of like conflict there.
Yeah, there wasn't any of that.
Yeah.
It was just Ben Foster's
and then there was
douche,
the woman from SNL who's like his sister, and that was also like, what's their relationship? What's their like?
She likes him, but then she doesn't want to do anything. But then she's fighting Ben Foster for control at the end.
That was a little bit of a thankless role for her.
That's fine.
I didn't know why that character was there.
No, we needed a counterpoint to Ben Foster's douchebaggery. It didn't make sense. I mean, I'm sure Heidi, I can't think of her last name, but I'm sure she got paid well to be in the 4 scenes.
But she was also like not funny. Like, you get a comedic person from SNL.
Woman.
Like, why did you not make her be funny?
And it's not dramatic. It's just you come on and say these lines. It could have literally been anybody. It could have been almost like any actress could have done her part. Not because she's not great, but just there's just nothing there. It was literally like 3 scenes and 8 lines.
I there wasn't enough advanced stats discussion for you. I'm sure that was probably a bummer. There was a bit of it there was a discussion. It was Ben Foster and Sandler, and they were kind of debating about. That's when Ben Foster brings up that he drafted Bargnani or whatever and gave him shit for that. It was like this bad call or something like that. He was a high draft pick. I think he was the first pick, and then like he just sucked. So they made this joke that he was the one that did that. There was a bit of a discussion about stats, and I was like, are they going to go hardcore on advanced stats here to get Ben going?
I assumed it's because you wanted to watch it. I assume this is the opposite. Like, games aren't played on nerds' computers. They're played in real life with men, and they got to want it more. But see, that's another part with Ben Foster's character that's confusing, right? He admits drafting the guy who was a German person or whatever, or I don't remember what European country he's from, but he admits that drafting that guy was a mistake. Because Adam Sandler says, don't draft this guy. Ben Foster says, you should draft him. They draft him, and Ben Foster has this moment of, he acknowledges he made a mistake. Is he growing? What's that? Nothing. There's just nothing. His character is just nothing. It's a big nothing burger. No, I don't give a shit about advanced stats, but I do like 3-dimensional characters or people that have philosophical or ideological differences. That's interesting to me. If you're going to be a flat 2-dimensional villain, be more fun, be more cartoonish. Be
like
more
Anthony
obnoxious.
Edwards.
Sure. Even then, he at least has a little bit, like, okay, he's trying to be number one. He's hyper-competitive alpha dude, right? You can see his brain working, like, at the combine. Bo Cruz is competing with him for draft stock. He's like, all right, I got to find a way to break this guy down because he's maybe going to look better than me, right? So he's out of his own insecurity or just like that. That's fine. But so many other people just, okay, well, what's their motivation? Why do they care so much? Why does Ben Foster think Adam Sandler's such a great scout, but then he's mad when he brings him a guy that he thinks is really good, and he was just...
I don't know. Sandler told him he was wrong, and Foster didn't listen, and he was wrong. And people hold grudges like that. That seems totally realistic.
He already admitted he was wrong before. That's what's interesting.
Yeah, but he's still going to hold that. It's like this guy always knows... you've worked with people where it's like they say something and you're like, that's not right, and you call them on it, and then they hate you forever because you called them on it. Like, you've been there, I'm sure.
Somebody says like a movie's going to win Best Picture, and you call them on it, and they won't back down, and they just double down. Or like you work with somebody and they make a bet that you couldn't get off a basket, you couldn't hit the rim, and play what? We do have to highlight that because that was why I thought you'd pick the movie. I guess I didn't realize you hadn't watched it yet. I thought it would make more sense in retrospect, but. Eric's a big, strong 6'4", right? Is that your correct height?
About that, yeah. Sure.
So you're almost a half a foot taller than me. You're a big manly man. I'm a dweeb who likes evidence and likes to think about things
Advanced
and really
stats.
formulate my opinion over time after reflecting on it and everything I know. And you're a guy who likes to just say whatever's in your mind. And I don't know what prompted it, but once you claimed that if you and I played one-on-one, I could not get a shot off. Not that I couldn't hit the rim.
You couldn't hit the rim.
And there's a scene in this. So Bo Cruz has burned every bridge because he gets too angry because of Anthony Edwards. And so they get Dr. J to film like a street ball sort of event where he keeps playing guys one-on-one, and if they hit the rim, they get $50. If they make a shot, they get $100, and if they win one-on-one, they get $1,000 or whatever. And I was like, oh,
it's the Boa challenge. Yeah.
That's what Eric thought he could do to me. It's like, oh man, now I really want to play one-on-one to see if I can hit the rim once.
No, that was just a happy coincidence that was in the movie. I had no idea.
Oh, it's like, oh man. It's like, wait, so is it just Anthony? No, it's this scene too. It's like, oh, that's perfect. That's how Eric sees me. He's the world-class athlete. I'm just some geek on the street.
Well, I'm getting up there in age. I think you could definitely get a couple on me now.
I think I could hit the rim. I felt that way 3 years ago. I feel if all I have to do is hit the rim at least once, I could win $50 if that's the bet.
We'll have to do a Pod of Dreams challenge and put it on Twitter or something. See if you can get a basket on me.
Yeah.
So apparently Adam Sandler loves working with Timberwolves legends because this is the second time now that he has, went from KG to Anthony Edwards. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, he's a couple of basketball adjacent movies. One of them's a lot better than the other one. Not a spoiler to the end, but one of them's way, way, way better. Like Queen Latifah, she has a thankless role in this movie. Her
she's
job
the wife.
is just to
she's the wife.
Support Adam Sandler, like not get mad at him for doing crazy stuff, and just support him all the time, and only aspires to support him.
I thought the Sandler stuff with his daughter was good. He seemed like a real dad. Like, sure. The side hug. Like, that's a real thing that happens, when your kids get older.
Are you getting side hugs these days?
I'm living that now. I don't get the daddy as much anymore. I mean, that's. And then it's like the one part I liked when he was taking her to see Evil Dead, right? Wasn't she going to see Evil Dead at the cemetery or something like that? And she leaves and he yells at her friends. He's like, I've known you since you were in kindergarten. You don't say hi to me. It's like, it's just, it doesn't seem like a real dad thing. I don't know.
Sure. Their relationship was convincing. It was sweet. It was fine.
And I like that she was not an athlete at all. Like they made her just not be good at sports. They kind of made fun of her a little bit about that.
Sure. They have a nice little family dynamic, but again, it's like you have all these people in this role. You're like, are you real people? No, not really. You're just kind of props in this movie about Adam Sandler getting redemption against Ben Foster, I guess.
Yeah. So here's Hernan Gomez. So he was traded to the Wolves in 2019. His best season as a pro, he averaged 12 points a game, 30 minutes.
What's his per?
I don't have it.
What's his real plus minus? Man?
I don't have his real
shit
plus
about
minus. I don't have his
volume
efficiency stats
like
here.
a rube.
These are just like actual numbers. And then 2020 is he's first full season with the Wolves. It was cut short because of COVID. His stat line dropped a bit. He went down about 7 points a game. And then 2021 he was traded, and apparently he had COVID to start the year and missed a bunch of time. And he's been traded 2-3 times since then, I think. So
you don't miss him on your Timberwolves. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, buddy.
But there was a minute there I was like, oh, he might be pretty good, but it didn't work out for him, which is kind of a bummer.
So he's not a Hall of Famer like he plays in Hustle.
No, he's definitely not going to be a Hall of Famer. But yeah, I mean that's all I have to really say about it. I liked it. Do you want to give your rating?
Sure. 2.5 stars out of 5. It's fine. I guess there's very little for me to chew on. It doesn't do anything overtly bad. There's nothing horrible in it, but there's not very much particularly good either. You want to watch a movie about basketball players and NBA Combine, and if you really like people making threes and people going, oh, whoa, whoa. If you like that, if that's a cool thing, that's fine. It's the main guy didn't care about. I wasn't interested in his plight. There aren't a lot of people around him that are interesting. It's fine. It mostly does what it says it's going to do, and I don't really care about what it does. It's fine. It's very, very forgettable. It's a movie it's already fading away from my consciousness. I won't be thinking about this movie years from now. So it's just not going to happen. How about you, Eric?
Well, I think on its own I'd give it 3 stars, but with Anthony Edwards, with his performance in this movie, I'm giving it 4. I'm bumping an entire star.
Okay.
Because, honestly, like,
Homer alert.
if you think
alert.
like Javier Bardem in No Country, Kathy Bates in Misery, you got anybody playing the Joker, just a real villain, like scene-stealing performance. I think you got to put Anthony Edwards in that conversation as Kermit Wiltz. I really think he's honestly in the grouping of all-time great supporting actor performances. And in this movie, he's worth a star just for that. So,
okay.
100% Anthony Edwards, 4 stars.
Okay. Homer alert. Nobody out there think this is actually a 4-star movie. It's not. It is just totally passable. And
it's
fine.
A good sports movie. It's a pretty good sports movie.
It's an okay sport movie. It's not The Fighter. Like, it's not anything like that. It's probably not Creed, even though I haven't seen that one. But what you say about it?
Okay, correct.
These are all like quality sports. This is it's totally fine. If you like basketball, you'll like it more than me. But it's not going to be up there.
What's a better basketball movie?
A better can you help me think of
basketball above the rim.
White guys.
He got game. White man can't jump. Definitely better. He got game.
I meant to say, so this movie. Have you ever seen The Air Up There? Have you ever heard of this movie, Eric?
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, he finds a guy in Africa.
Yep. That was like a bit off of Hakeem Olajuwon. So Hakeem Olajuwon was kind of discovered in a very similar way.
Oh yeah, and that was at least he had to and I'm sure it was not culturally sensitive. I haven't seen it since I was a kid, but he at least has to learn about another culture and get to know people and get past some of his privilege before he can connect with the guy. Anyway, made me think of The Air Up There as well a little bit.
Yeah, I liked that movie.
It was fine. Yeah,
there's a big tournament in the village at the end of the movie.
And he has to do some ritual to his penis to be able to participate in the tribe. That's the thing I most remember.
Yep, that's right.
Because they're like, only people that have done this ritual are members of the tribe and can play. And then he pulls his shorts up and they're like, oh, I guess I withdraw my complaint.
The basketball in that movie is not good. And because they didn't have real basketball players. It was all actors in that movie.
Oh, I'm sure it was really corny.
Kevin Bacon's not a convincing basketball. And that was actually surprising. Like, Adam Sandler, you see some clips where he's at, some rec center just balling with some dude. Like, he plays basketball a lot, and he loves basketball. Does he even take a jump shot in this movie? I don't think so. I mean, he's got the hand thing, so maybe he can't. But
he said he can't shoot. He said he couldn't shoot even before his action. He's like, I couldn't shoot, so I had to learn to play defense and pass. But you can shoot.
But like even in Uncut Gems, there's a scene where he steals the basketball and he shoots. Like even in that movie, like he loves basketball. But I was shocked that there wasn't more of him actually playing.
But was the basketball in this really genuinely good? I mean, it's a lot of cuts to made 3-pointers. We don't see much actual basketball because there's no context. Nobody cares about the score. It's just
I mean, you're not watching a game, but like I thought the street ball stuff was good. That was the most fun part for sure. Him blocking shots and playing defense and squaring guys up. The combine game I thought was exciting, and then the like NBA game where it's like they're just like playing. We got like Trae Young and all those guys. That was kind of fun. They were more just sort of fucking around, but
I'm trying to think. What are the other basketball movies? Blue Chips is probably better, I guess. If we're talking about that.
Yeah.
That's a movie that's more interesting to me, and I don't try to think what else. Air Bud's better for sure.
Get out of here, Air Bud.
Hey, there's no rule that dogs can't play basketball, man. There's no rule. Show me the rule book where it says a dog can't play basketball.
Could Adam Sandler train Air Bud to make it to the combine, you think?
Sure. Hoosiers is better. I don't know.
Yeah, Hoosiers. Although that movie hasn't aged great, but
it maybe hasn't. I haven't seen it in a long time. I'm trying to think of what other basketball movies there are. I don't know.
With this movie,
Space Jam.
I thought when I was watching this, would you like this movie more if Keegan Murray was the instead you swap out Anthony Edwards and put in Keegan Murray? Would you enjoy
Keegan
it
Murray
more?
is a fucking legend. Go Kings. Kings are going to take the Timberwolves down every time they play.
The MVP of the Summer League, Keegan Murray, by the way, right?
The Timberwolves are going to think, we gave up all this guy for that Gobert guy. The Timberwolves are going to say, wait, we could have given up all that and got Keegan Murray. And we made
so is that a yes? You would have preferred it if Keegan Murray was in it?
I would have pretended to like it more, but I wouldn't have actually cared just because the guy.
No, he would have been a college sophomore, right, when they were filming this movie. So.
Yeah.
But he could have popped in. He probably could have paid him to be in it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, he seems like a guy with a great personality. Just super
are you being sarcastic?
Super charismatic.
No, he's that's part of the problem is he's just very
like
very unassuming and dull and he's not like exciting. He's just really fucking good at basketball. Like I think Eric, if you played him one-on-one, you couldn't get a shot off.
I probably could.
I think he would block every
better than Anthony Edwards. Are you saying you would take Keegan Murray over Anthony Edwards? Are we gonna have this debate?
Sure. Yeah, Keegan Murray.
Well, that's crazy. You really would? That's crazy.
I guess I pay attention. That doesn't mean anything. I've not done any research. I've not seen the stats. I don't know what they're.
Well, Keegan Murray hasn't played a professional basketball game yet, so.
No, but he's gonna be a special guy. He might be a Hall of Famer. You wait and see. No happening?
No chance.
Okay. We'll see. But anyway, it's a perfectly okay basketball movie. There's lots of better ones. Most of the ones we listed were actually better. I'd put this ahead of Space Jam and Air Bud. Not much else so far of all the basketball movies I can think of off the top of my head. It's fine. It's okay.
Watch it for Anthony Edwards alone, because he's great.
If you're not a Timberwolves fan, you will not get nearly as much out of it as Eric does. This is pure homerism. But all right, we're here. Neither one of us thinks it's a great movie. So
one of the other reasons I picked it, now again, obviously the Anthony Edwards, but I saw it on a lot of like top 10 movie lists for like the first half of the year. So like there were a lot of people that liked it.
This is one of the 10 best movies of 2022 so far. What a terrible 6 months of movies it's been.
I don't know.
You gave it 3 stars and then you just gave it an extra star because of Anthony Edwards. I mean that's if you think a 3-star movie is one of the 10 best of the year, then yes, that's a bleak outlook. It's not great. It's not even pretty good. It's just fine. It's okay.
So another interesting. So when I watched this, it redirected me. This is totally a tangent. It redirected me to Adam Sandler's. He had this like tour that he went on. I think it was 2019 or 2018, and it was like a live comedy tour.
Was it that Certified Fresh thing?
Yes. Yeah.
100% fresh.
100% fresh. Yeah. So I watched a bit of that, and it was okay. It was like basically the Adam Sandler comedy albums from the 90s where you just sing for a little bit and make a joke. But there was a song that he did about Chris Farley that was like really touching and like beautiful.
I've heard that bit a bit.
Yeah, so if you don't want to watch this movie and you just want something else to watch, highly recommend just YouTubing the 100% fresh performance of this. It's called Chris Farley. I think the song is just called Chris Farley. It's really good and like really touching. It like kind of hit me a little bit. And then he does like a guitar solo that's really rad. Like I was like, whoa, holy shit. So maybe watch that instead of this movie.
Okay.
I don't know.
Now you're telling people to watch other Adam Sandler stuff instead of this.
Yeah, if you need your Adam Sandler fix, maybe. If Uncut Gems didn't do it for you, then.
All right, Eric, let's do our 5 degrees. Where are we headed?
All right, you want me to go first?
Sure.
Okay. So I started with Ben Foster, your guy, who you're saying he's criminally underrated.
I think he's really good. So we talked about Hell or High Water a while ago. He's great in that movie.
Well, he usually comes in as the, like, this dude is crazy wild card. Like 3:10 to Yuma. I didn't pick that, but like I really like that movie, and he's the same kind of just
and he's
insane.
the best part of the shitty John Travolta Punisher movie.
I don't remember that. Oh, he's in that? Okay.
Yes, and he's one of the only things I like about the X-Men 3, the Brett Ratner awful X-Men movie, The Last Stand.
He plays the Angel guy, right?
Yeah,
Angel?
he's one of the only things I like. Well, I just don't hate. I don't know that I even like him in that. It's like I don't hate his performance. I mean, he's genuinely, I think, really good. I'm just kind of surprised he doesn't get better stuff. But anyway,
yeah, like award. He's a good actor, right? I agree with you. Like he doesn't get like awards movies, like.
Yeah, and he could be an action hero too. Like I mean, like couldn't you see him as some hardcore murdering assassin?
He's always a bad guy though. He's the kind of actor where like the second you see him, you're like, there's something wrong with this guy. Like he's gonna fuck something up.
Well, maybe, but I still think you could work. There's a lot of possibilities there for nuance and intrigue. But anyway.
Well, I picked a movie that I do kind of like. It's called Lone Survivor. It's like a Iraq War era movie about like a unit of guys that got like separated and trapped, and they were fighting off. I think it was Iraqis, and there was one guy that lived, and it's Mark Wahlberg is the lone survivor.
I've seen the cover. I've never seen the movie, but I've seen that cover of him.
Yeah,
decked out.
I kind of like that movie. That was pretty good.
Okay.
So Mark Wahlberg's in that. He's in a movie called The Fighter, which you referenced. You brought it up earlier. I actually quite like that movie too. I think that's pretty good. That movie, Christian Bale is, he's worth the price of admission, I think, in that movie.
Yeah, and everybody's great in that movie. That's filled with an excellent cast.
Yeah. Actually, Wahlberg's the worst part of that movie.
That's
really.
Fine, but it works because he doesn't have to say much. He plays a quiet guy who doesn't talk much. Like, okay, that's good. Let's give him that part.
Also great in that movie is Amy Adams, and so
she's
I
incredible.
picked her. She's amazing in that movie. And she's in Man of Steel with your guy Kevin Costner. So
okay,
that's what I picked.
I did Ben Foster as well. I wanted to give him some props, such meager props I can offer. I did use 3:10 to Yuma. That was my first movie, the remake. It's a remake of an older Western I've not seen.
Love that movie. Love that movie. It's so good. Mangold, right? The guy that made Logan and
the second X-Men
Ford
movie.
versus Ferrari. Yeah, like he's a great filmmaker.
It's a good Western. So really like Ben Foster, and Ben Foster in the movie with Christian Bale, and look at me, I'm the king of New York. Suddenly I'm respectable, staring right at you, lousy with stature. Newsies. Have you ever seen Newsies, Eric?
No idea. No.
It's a musical from 1992 that Christian Bale is in, about boys that sell newspapers, and they go on strike.
And they sing the whole time when they do it.
Oh, it's a musical. In 1992, one early Christian Bale.
That makes me want to throw up. Did you just saying that?
Okay. Well, anyway, it's a lot. It was on Disney a lot. I saw it a lot in the early 90s. One of the many early opportunities for Christian Bale. Bill Pullman.
Yeah, he was a child actor, right? He was in that one Spielberg movie, right?
Empire of the Sun.
Yeah. I always forget he was like a kid actor.
Yeah. He's been around for very long. I mean, he's been making movies. You probably could find stuff from the 80s and on. Yes, he's been at it a while. Bill Pullman's in that movie, and Bill Pullman is in Wyatt Earp, the definitive Western about Wyatt Earp and Tombstone, Arizona.
False.
With Kevin Costner, who is, of course, the lead of Field of Dreams.
False statement.
Because you've never seen Newsies. I'm gonna lock that one away in the back of my head. Newsies, 1992. It's one you could watch with your daughters. They might like it.
Maybe. Although it sounds torturous.
Okay, so the last order of business, I get to pick the movie. I'm excited. I had a lot of possibilities, but I just couldn't escape one. So I got 5 clues. Let's see if Eric can guess it. I'll be very impressed if he does. First clue, the year came out in 2011. Any guesses?
2011. No, not from that. I don't have a guess.
Okay. Clue 2. This was released with an NC-17 rating.
Huh. I'm intrigued. I like the start of this, but
Ooh. Yeah, this is definitely a movie you would not want to watch with your kids.
Okay, well, all right. Check. Let's go.
Clue number 3. Part of the reason why it got an NC-17 rating is a particular scene that involves fried chicken. Famously involves fried chicken, and it's unsavory.
My mind's going. This isn't my guess, but my mind's going to like Hostel, or like The Hills Have Eyes, or something like that. Like one of those like horror movies. But that's not my guess because that's not right. There's nothing to do with fried chicken in those movies. So
that's fine. Okay, that's where your head's at. That's interesting. Find that interesting. All right. Clue number 4. The director of this movie is also the same guy that directed The Exorcist. I'll tell you his name if you want the name.
Friedkin, right?
Yeah, William Friedkin. Yep, that's right.
2011. You know, he there's a bunch of movies of his that I want to see that I can't find, that like are unavailable. There's like the To Live and Die in LA is one of his movies that's earlier, so it's not that. Boy, he made a movie in 2011?
Yeah, he still keeps making movies. I mean, they're lower budget. They're obviously not big-time mainstream releases, and this one is NC-17, which is gonna kill any possibility.
Is it the Counselor? That's not him, right? That's a different director. Is that Ridley Scott?
I think Ridley Scott did The Counselor, so it's not The Counselor. It's fine. You can have more than one guess. This is a tricky one.
Is that the last clue?
No, I got one more.
Okay, one more clue.
The star is Matthew McConaughey.
In 2011.
This is like right in the midst of what they call the McConaissance, where Matthew McConaughey was shedding his reputation as the guy who's like shirtless in romantic comedies.
Magic Mike, that's later.
Yeah, it's not Magic Mike, obviously.
Not Interstellar. That's all later. That's not Friedkin. And NC-17, 2011. Wow, this movie is like completely escaping anything that I could think of.
Yeah, I'd be surprised. It's not a movie that was. I'll explain why I picked it in a minute, but
I can see it. I have no idea.
It's a movie called Killer Joe.
Oh.
So Matthew McConaughey plays a cop / hitman, and I don't know. I've never seen it. It was around the time where I started really listening to a ton of podcasts, a lot. It was a movie that movie podcasters talked about a fair amount, but it did not resonate culturally because it was so dark. It was one of the many things where Matthew McConaughey's like, I'm done being the romantic comedy guy. I'm going to do stuff because he's going to eventually do. I can't think of all the other ones he did. The one he won an Oscar for.
Dallas Buyers Club.
There we go. Yeah, like he's getting there. He's working his way out of the stereotype. It's available to stream on Amazon Prime. I've never seen it. I don't know what the fried chicken scene involves, but I know that was a big reason why it gets an NC-17 rating. Nobody described it on a podcast. They just referenced it. Like you, there's a lot of directors I've criminally not seen enough of their stuff. And William Friedkin is one. I mean, I love The Exorcist. And Sorcerer is another great one.
That's another one I haven't seen. I can't find it. You can it's not available.
Yeah, you can pay to stream it. I was looking for it. There's a way to pay somewhere. I was looking at Friedkin options, but I was like, all right, this one's on Amazon Prime. Looks interesting to talk about. I think it'd be really worth watching. So I've not seen it before. Sounds like you haven't seen it before either.
No, I haven't. I'm
It's streaming on
excited.
Prime.
It sounds like right in the window of something that I would really like. So very excited. Well, thanks to Anthony Edwards. Olay, bitch. Anything else you want to say about Hustle or?
No, you guys, you can.
Keegan Murray. You want to talk Keegan Murray some more?
He's awesome.
Well, what's his brother like? Is his brother going to be as good or a big downgrade? What's his brother's name? Like Kellen Murray Chris Murray? Okay.
Based off of Chris Street, who I don't know if you know anything about Chris Street, but he was a basketball player that died in the early 90s in a car accident.
Oh, okay. So almost like Adam Sandler's character almost died in a car accident.
Sort of, yeah. Kenyon Murray is their dad. He played with Chris Street, so he named one of his sons after Chris Street. Oh, okay.
Was he drinking as well? Like
I don't think so. I think he just died in a car. It was just shitty luck, or I don't remember the specific details. I was a kid when it happened, but it was big enough that even when I was 8, like I knew about it. Is he going to be as good as Keegan? I hope so. Even if he's like 80% of Keegan, that'll still be really awesome.
Is he going to be as good as Juancho Hernan Gomez? Do you think?
I think he'll play in the
Average
NBA.
12 points a game.
It sounds like that guy is just going to kind of putz around in the NBA, make a few $1 million, and then go live his life. So I think he could probably match that. Who knows?
Anthony Edwards dunks on him, and he waves to the guy's little girl, and she waves back, and he's like, "Look, she likes me." Like, incredible stuff. That's Joker level shit. So, were you
rooting for him for Bo Cruz to hurt Anthony Edwards?
No, of course not. No. I mean, he was going to I thought they'd get it, you mix it up a little bit, but no.
Okay. You weren't identifying with his rage?
He took it too far, for sure. I mean, that's insane to, like, talk shit in that level.
Well,
that
I wonder, is there a line
insane.
Where it's unacceptable? Like, it seems like there's a ton of things that could be
to insinuate that the guy fucked his mom and had a kid with his own mother is, like, that's a crazy thing to say when you're playing a basketball game, to get under somebody's skin. Like, yeah. What else could you say? Is there anything worse when you're playing a sporting event against somebody to say something like that?
Well, you see the moment he realizes his daughter's in the stand, and then, like, his mind
he gets a little smirk too. I love it. It's
like,
good acting.
I got a way to get into this guy.
He's like, okay, now I got it. Yeah,
I got it. Yeah, the typical stuff isn't working because I'm used to that.
Michael Jordan was famous for. Larry Bird was famous for, like, finding, like, weird facts about people and then, like, bringing it up when they played against each other. And, like, you hear, like, football players too, they'll, like, find stuff about people's family and bring that shit up, like, at line of scrimmage. Like, it happens, but, like, that's a crazy thing to say, about a kid that
Seems
you're playing
like the
against.
kind of person Anthony Edwards is, and the kind of person you want on your basketball
that's
team.
not how he really is. He's just a great actor.
When have you ever talked to him?
He's just a great actor.
How do you know he never talks trash on the court?
Oh, I'm sure he does, but
he respects the boundaries that you've made up in your head?
Sure.
Okay.
He's a Timberwolf. We don't do that here in Minnesota.
Okay.
We don't play like
Minnesota
that.
nice.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Well, thanks for listening. Love y'all. Bye.